Welcome back everyone. You're watching the training week from August 4th and it was a competition week. Now it looks like I haven't written in the weekly highlights yet, so I'll do that after. But the highlight was I did it. I did all round on Saturday. And the biggest challenge was probably floor. So you see, this is the Monday of the competition week and I still hadn't decided, am I going to try to finish my routine off with the compulsory double somersault, the double back being the easiest one. So I did some from flick flack, just some layouts, tried a couple double backs from the round off, and I decided that I'm just going to do it from round off. And that 30 centimeter crash mat that you see is probably one of the best crash mats we have. And fam, I didn't do the double on the 10 centimeter mat until the competition. So it was kind of like a last minute sort of call that I knew I was going to have to make depending on how my ankle felt. You'll see on Thursday, which would have been my last training day before the comp, that I just even a simple back tuck from a round off, because of that ankle pain, was hard for me to stick. So floor was one of the biggest challenges, despite of course the main challenge, which was finishing 5th and 6th apps on P-bar and high bar, where actually most of my difficulty lies. So there's your introduction, but the real introduction, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Misha, and here on this channel I'm sharing my love for gymnastics. I'm sharing my training. Every single turn that I take on the equipment is all up for the last 4 or 5 years. I include all the competitions I do, and really I think one of the good reasons for uploading literally everything, besides me flaunting and showing off my skills as an athlete likes to do, I think it's good for the younger generation, the next generation, or just younger gymnasts or even athletes in general, to get a grasp of actually how much difficulty they're in for. Like that skill right there, I've said many times, fam, 20 years I have been working on that skill, on and off of course, not 20 years consistently, but 20 years give or take from the time I first started training it, and I still cannot do it. Still cannot do it to handstand, that stoop half. So I feel there's value in sharing the reality of how long progress can take, how difficult progress can be, if any, sometimes. And just at least my reality, I'm sure everyone is different, but my reality of training gymnastics as an athlete that's taken it, as a lifelong journey. It's pretty much been the main pursuit of my life. I wanted to find out how far can I get in this thing that's also fun, yet can be so bloody hard, and can turn that fun into just a pure misery sometimes, fam. Sometimes it's a pure misery and pain, how to navigate injuries, how to compete when you're not at 100. And as a side note, I highly doubt that the top athletes around the world are always at 100% for their pinnacle competitions like World Champs, Olympic Games. You always hear of problems, you always hear of injuries, sometimes serious, sometimes minor, but this is a long introduction. All that to say, the reality of training might not be exactly how you think it is. We all want to live in that perfect fantasy land where everything goes our way. But through these videos, I hope to reach those and show them that you can still enjoy, you can still have fun and love what you do, even though you're definitely far, far, far from that fantasy land which you want to be in. let's take that back a price to inverted cross, for example. We're entering at about 45 degrees above. And, I did try it at the comp. I tried it as part of my all-round, and we knew it wasn't going to get paid. But as you see, they're pretty much exactly 45 degrees. So if I'm going to pursue it, I'm going to have a long way to go. But one thought I did have was the inverted cross by itself, I recently found out, is a D. So that would tick off the D strength part requirement. Swinging into it, of course, is really difficult because you have to keep your shoulders, top of the ring at highest, bottom of the ring at best, which is a bit beyond my capability. Oh, I wish I could do that all the time. But because the Azerion hurts that surgery side shoulder, maybe I won't have to push that one and just like double down on the invert and work a inverted cross that's as close to level as I can get. And by level I mean as close to horizontal as I can get. 2:06 on the Tuesday, pretty good time, probably one of my best. But how did the routine turn out? So you see, I didn't do routines everywhere on Tuesday. It was a competition week, so I wanted to taper down a bit, save some energy for the big weekend. The other challenge, of course, was competing 2 days in a row. And oh man, I was like thrashed. Doesn't even begin to describe how I felt the next morning when I woke up. And immediately after the first day, I was debating, do I do day 2? And because our club had 3 days off after this competition, I thought, well, I'm going to have some time off, and we don't get to compete much at all in New Zealand, let alone internationally. But this was just another chance to work on those mistakes that might not come out in training, but mistakes like leg form on high bar that tend to come out a lot more often when I'm competing. So day 2, I decided to do pommel, P-bar, high bar, and man, that was a mental challenge. That was a really big challenge for me, especially having coached all day on the Sunday. Started at like 7:30 a.m. I was coaching a couple of sessions, and then the senior competition was shortly after that. And I'm not only one on that boat. I know there's some guys that are also judging all morning and then doing their best to compete in the senior division later on in the day. So this was pretty much my last training day before the all-round. Lucked out on that one. Thursday just did a little bit of basics on a couple of pieces and rested on the Friday before the comp. And I hope you can appreciate that this competition was, like I had 1 week to really, I'm gonna do all-round. About 1 week before the competition, I decided, yep, I'm gonna throw it. So thank you to all the commenters, even though I know a lot of you were prompted by Lewis's story, but thanks for the engagement. That was a lot of fun, and I almost can't believe that I actually did all-round. And the question is, where do we go from here? World champs, the focus is going to be solely on P-bars and high bar. I'm going to try to get that giant Diami a bit more consistent in the routine. High bar, add a couple things. Actually, right after the competition, after the return, after the break, did a few casinas to test the waters, and decided for a 0.2 upgrade, adding a casina, not worth right now. Not worth. The knees through the bottom, extremely bent, not to mention how difficult it is going to be to catch it as a second skill. I think for world champs, I'm going to do the routine with the Coleman after the Pagan, the piked Gaylord, and throw in that tucked Gaylord too in the routine as well, so 4 releases. Now I was working on this front prize because I knew that the exit from the invert, just swinging into the inverted hand, was gonna get smashed. But front prize felt choppy. Front prize felt choppy. It's a bit strange doing it from like such a high swing from an inverted cross. It's quite simple from a low swing, easy to block, but yeah, didn't like it. So I thought, whatever, I'll just take the deductions and do the that funny little exit out of the inverted cross into just a simple inverted hand and kip up right after. So Thursday, almost there, fam. We're gonna get to watch the attempted all around. I'm curious how many people actually thought that I was gonna do it. You know, on second thought though, I have been training a fair amount on the other pieces besides P-bar and high bar, so it wasn't like I was completely doing nothing on them. And if I wasn't preparing, you know, I wouldn't have got that nice pommel horse routine from the week before this one. That was like probably one of the best horse routines I've had, really. So see, I'm testing the waters. What's it going to be like? And I knew I was going to put a 10 centimeter mat for the competition, but since it was just a back tuck, and you see I was struggling with that ankle to land a simple back tuck. Well, that should have been Coleman 98 right there. Did you see Coleman 98? Check it out. It was fire. So we're warming up. I only filmed the, I don't film my other stuff because high bar I need to see how things look. But here we go, restarting. No mat, first time without a mat, fam, in this build up. Stoked to put the first tumble on my feet. Big step there, but pretty clean in the air. Not sure if I held this long enough. Oh, it was alright, not too bad. Now we lost the, couldn't quite see me in the corner, but I did have a secondary angle. You see, I think that's another angle from that window over there. And this is exactly that angle. 1.5 full, supposed to be a layout, ended up being a tuck, no problem. The side balance, fam. Side balance. And it looked good, but it felt like way more harder in a comp compared to just doing it in a normal training. And you see me lifting that left foot literally as it touches the mat. That was like a one-legged landing. I was like, oh my god, I hit it. I hit floor. I hit the double back. Spoiler alert, but I didn't hit pommel. It was a struggle right off the bat. So we're getting slammed here for the pike, for the form, another couple of circles on the leather getting slammed. And then here it was just, yeah, get off. Stop fighting, because you know, you're gonna get so much deductions. I probably lost just easily a mark worth of deductions in poor circle form. But finished pretty good. Finished pretty good. I was a bit disappointed because pommel kind of went well in the last couple of weeks before this. But that's the reality. Competing it is completely different to training it. Next up was the ring send. Tried to bring it down a little bit right there at the end, but yeah, no pay and, you know, about a mark's worth of deductions after talking with the judges after. So no skill, no requirement, and about a mark of execution errors there. But the rest, easy peasy. Nothing difficult. Shape's looking pretty alright. And a nice kick out on the double tuck full. Shouldn't have piked. A little step back. Oh fam, this was embarrassing. This was embarrassing. I thought my foot got stuck in the mat, and it kind of did, but when I looked at the video I was like, yeah, you just literally overcooked it way too much. You can see a bit of a closed hips. Some closed hips, which I shouldn't have done, but it wasn't just the caught foot, caught heel on the mat. I really did overcook it just way too much. So suffered a roll back on a Yurchenko full twist, fam. It reminds me of 2010 Worlds where I spaced out on my Yurchenko full twist landing and literally just dropped forward to a push-up position. And I'm actually working on trying to get clips from those earlier World Championships. If we're lucky, we might get clips from 2007 all the way up to 2014 Worlds, which are not on YouTube. 2015 onwards, you can find every single routine of every athlete that competed at the World Championships on the FIG channel. But the ones before that, I do remember there were cameras in the arena. So although they're not online, perhaps, and I pray that FIG has still got archive of those, because I'd really love to see my performances from those earlier World Championships. So no Giant Diami, it was a struggle. Think I was second guessing the grip. So story of my life, always taking out that Giant Diami. One touch warm up. So all around, well, let's wait till the routine's over. Remember, the hard part is keeping that form for me. And of course, I know that under adrenaline, I'm going to fly a little bit further. So I did misjudge it a little bit. That was a bit close. It wasn't too bad. But the form was bad. Same thing here. A little bit close, maybe closer than the Pagan. But the form was not good. Once again, fam. Same problems. Same problems. No Pike Gaylord, I was dead. You can see me just struggling away, doing it for the YouTube commentators. Decent Zoli, got to turn over a little bit more. And pikey, but put it on my feet. So took a fall on pommel. You can pretty much say took a fall on rings, but technically I didn't leave the apparatus. Took a fall on vault. Took out a skill on P-bar. Oh man, fam, doing it by itself, like I said, no meaning. Doing it in a routine is the meaning. And took out a release skill on high bar. But there you have it. There you have it. Sent the all round. It was fun. It was a massive challenge, and that's what made it fun. Placed second only to the great Will Fu Allen, and scored a massive 71, fam. Scored the massive 71. Qualified to nationals all around, so I don't know what I'm going to do at nationals, because it is kind of close to worlds. And I did mess up my calf. I went for a run like a couple days after this, and I think when you watch my P-bar dismount day 2, you'll notice I landed really short, and I think that might have done my calf. So I'm gonna have to play it by feel, but not quite sure what the plan is going to be for nationals. Do you want me to do all round for nationals? Do you want me to risk it for the biscuit once again, or do you want me to get a quality high bar? And look at this, fam. Oh yeah, the breakdance comes out when you least expect it. Slippy slip. Unfortunate, because you know, pretty stoked that I got the flop. I think I scored on the 9s for this routine because the scissor didn't get paid. These days there's a hip angle that if it's more than 90 degrees, the scissor is not paid. So next couple weeks you'll see me doing a little bit of work on the hip extension during that scissor. But man, the second half was good. But of course, massive hit without that scissor requirement with the 2 falls. But you know, pommel's a safe one, so I wanted to challenge myself. And this one, oh man, could you tell by the warm-up that I did nothing? I was exhausted. Part of me was like, why are you doing this, man? Why are you doing this? But the other part is like, well, it's another opportunity to try to hit those parts that always go wrong in the competition setting. Another opportunity to feel what it's like to compete them, so that I can better understand how to prepare for the big competitions. And that's exactly why, as exhausted as I was, like every part of me was telling myself, okay man, don't do high bar. It's gonna be gnarly. But somehow I just wanted to, yeah, that was a really short landing. Took out Peach, took out Giant Diami, but managed to stay on. So there you have it. Came back to the all-round. What do we do from here? I'm not sure, but World Champs is at the forefront of my mind. I will link a Give a Little page. I've gone and paid the World Champs bill, and it was a big one. And fam, I'm gonna need a little bit of financial help as I pull out of that Coleman. But you know, with a mortgage and all the travel, you know, I think I already made the Give a Little, and you can also support me on the Patreon, where I do release all sorts of gymnastics related videos. The links will be down below. So I'm going to do my best to raise some funds to make life a little bit easier for my family and I. Thank you for watching. All the best. Till next time.